Hi, my name is Lieutenant Colonel Shiloh Irigoyen of Nevada Wing Civil Air Patrol, and I'm here to discuss the proposal of a continual compliance program in the region, specifically the creation of a compliance officer within the region, the wings, and their subordinate units. The proposal is that this compliance officer would actually review responses and documentation for a CI, an SUI, a SAV, and this is really more a second set of eyes on the information that's been uploaded by the specific staff officers. At no point is this position enforcement. This is not part of CAP Regulation 20-1. There is no IG training requirement or appointment requirement in this regard. The goal here simply is to make sure that members are routinely uploading specific pieces of information, program achievements and accomplishments, just to make sure staff is maintaining all of that in the IG system through e-services, so that if an inspection were to take place, the information is already there. And also for unexpected transitions between staff officers, that the incoming staff officer does not have to start over from scratch and try to piece together what has gone on in the last few years. The compliance officer would also coach new wing staff members and advise subordinate unit counterparts, as well as meet with the region in those meetings in order to determine what are some additional and innovative ways that the compliance program can keep the region, wing, or subordinate units in compliance and ready to go for any type of inspection. Well, let's look at the impact. Now, we know in 2015, Nevada Wing had first developed this, and for its SAV, it only had 5, we'll call them discrepancies. They weren't obviously official discrepancies because it wasn't a CI. In 2016 was a CI. There were only 7 discrepancies found on this. In 2018, there were only 4 discrepancies on that SAV. Now, put that in comparison with some of the other wings in our region. For example, in Washington Wing, in its recent CI, they had 15 discrepancies. In Oregon Wing, they had over 20. In Hawaii Wing, they had 31. And in California Wing, 21. I think you can see Nevada's approach has produced far less discrepancies and had a number of commendables that were mentioned in the final report. Bear in mind that the final report is what CAP USAF and the corporate leadership will help look at in order to determine how functional is our unit or our region. How effective are we at meeting our mission requirements? So, the proposal is each level of command would assign a compliance officer. This compliance officer is an experienced officer. We're not looking for an IG. We're looking for someone who has significant familiarity with several of the programs. It will require some additional e-services permissions, particularly in member reports, so that they can check to make sure that certain things have been met. The region level would train the wing counterparts, and then those wing counterparts would provide training for the groups and squadron level for their units. There would be a presentation of the compliance officer role to staff, as well as an expectation of each staff officer to maintain records year-round in the IG file for e-services. And this, again, is important because it's a one-stop place to where if we do have a replacement of staff officers, they can find it quickly. It also prevents the stressful time of 90 days before an inspection, people suddenly trying to throw together specific documentations and evidence through a myriad of emails and other recollections before an inspection. Now, this can be conducted 2 to 3 times a year. The inspections for Nevada Wing usually only happen twice. And in fact, there is an entire curriculum that's been created, a compliance inspection guide that not only goes over the philosophy, but it talks about the preparatory work, how to collect the data, what data to collect, and just as importantly, how to answer the questions on a worksheet, whether it is an SUI or a CI, as well as how to deal with some of the discrepancies if, in a worst case scenario, a discrepancy is found. This is not going to take a great deal of time, 3 to 4 hours for each review cycle. In Nevada Wing, usually twice a year, and we're looking at about 4 hours each time I committed a review of all of the information that was uploaded. You're also looking at another 1 to 2 hours of staff training, not only in completing worksheets, documenting the work and how to document the work so that you can earn those commendables. It's not just about saying what you've done, it's saying it in a way that the inspection team clearly sees the advantage of your program. And of course, how to address discrepancies. If you have questions or comments, of course, please respond via the email I will send you, but now's a good time for discussion. Okay, let's transition to addressing the assignment questions. So when we're talking about soliciting comments and feedback, particularly for a wing or region commander, I want to give a verbal presentation now, but of course, we want them to think about the good and the bad, the things that they would want to see changed or added to it. So I would want written comments after the presentation. Now, in terms of incorporating feedback, particularly to a commander, that's going to be key because the commander is going to want to address exactly what he or she wants in the program. To make that program work, I need the commander's support. I would not only place those comments and the ideas in the training materials, but it's something we would have to discuss with regular meetings, as I talked about in the presentation, with compliance officers at the region, wing, and unit level. I'd also want to meet with the inspection staff under the IG program, and this is just to get an idea of some of the concerns and general trends that they're seeing. The best way for a compliance officer to actually support the units is to have a thorough understanding of what are the positives and what are the negatives that the individuals are seeing. Thank you very much for considering this assignment.